Hi everybody, my name's Ollie. Welcome to another edition of The Watch Collector. Today we're going to talk about a brand called Frédéric Jouvenel, which was founded in 2008, and in particular their Helios titanium DLC watch. But before I show it to you and we go through it in depth, the obligatory wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing an HYT H0 unique piece that was designed specifically for me by HYT, which we'll talk about in another video. Personally, I love this watch, and if you ask me, although of course I may be biased, this is what being into and collecting independent brands is all about, and the experience you get is really second to none. So let's get to the watch that we want to talk about today, and this is the Frédéric Jouvenel Helios, as I said, titanium DLC. It's called Helios, named after the son of Titan in Greek mythology. And the idea really behind this watch is to show the sun and the night through jumping hours. It's a pretty ingenious way of showing the time, so there are no numbers on the dial other than for the minutes, which we'll get to shortly. But it's a titanium DLC case, 44 millimeters in diameter, 50-hour power reserve from an in-house movement. Straight out the bat, I love the way that the case, the way that the lugs taper with real kind of 3D effect. The fact that you can see straight through it, I think is pretty cool. I think it probably work quite well when it's on the wrist. So right now it's 12:45, hence the sun is up and ready to go. Now as I pull out the crown, now we can start to wind. It features jumping hours. So hopefully that's coming through on camera. I think it's actually a pretty cool effect, the way that they've been able to make it almost, no, it's almost imperceptible the way that the hours jump. It's quite an effect actually. Makes a nice snick as they do switch over. And that takes us all the way through, if I wind it through, all the way through to midnight. Bang, there we go. So that's midnight. And then of course we start again. I think it's a very clever way of having not only your time, but also your day and night indicator. And on top of that, the essence of this is to really sort of give the impression that you're almost wearing the sun on your wrist. So let's just go back through to the time it is now. 4, 5, 6. $12.50. Really nicely done, I must say. I do like that a lot. Let's turn it over to the case back. Nicely finished. This is actually number 11 of, I believe, a limited edition of total of 88. All titanium covered in DLC, so it's extremely light. In-house, 42 joules. As I mentioned, 50-hour power reserve. Titanium DLC means it's extremely light. And as I mentioned, I really do like, I know it seems like an odd feature to highlight, but I really do like the way that the lugs have that hole in the middle. Kind of gives it an additional feeling of lightness. Let's get it on the wrist and see what it feels like. It feels like the clasp is titanium with DLC as well. Extremely light. It feels secure once on the wrist. But that initial feeling, I think because the deploying clasp is so light, it feels like it almost may not hold it on as securely as it should, but actually once it's on, it feels good. The case is actually very nicely tapered. It fits around the wrist nicely. Again, obviously this is a brand new watch, so the strap is absolutely not broken in. It's got some bolstering over time. The alligator will really nicely bend around your wrist, and I think, especially in this configuration during the day, with the way that the portrayal of the sun really pops, I think it's been done fantastically. And hopefully you can see, I'm pointing it out again, I just love the way those lugs are done. Very, very nicely done. No, actually it feels nice, the deploying clasp on the wrist. For those who really like their watches almost imperceptible in terms of weight, but carrying visual aesthetic, then I think this is certainly one that you might want to consider. It's pretty hefty in terms of price, around 33,000 I think it is, almost 40 including VAT, but so for something that is special, a real different interpretation of how to tell the time, and I think you definitely won't go wrong. One for the collector, I would say, one that is certainly on a journey and kind of looking for something that's a little bit different. So I'd love to know what you think about the Helios. I think you've heard my views. I think it's actually it's a great reinterpretation of how to tell the time, going back to Greek mythology in order to really kind of bring it alive. But I'd love to know what you think. I think it's idiosyncratic and very cool. Thanks so much for joining. We'll see you next time.